Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your friendly neighborhood Coach Pruitt here with you once again with a daily YouTube video. So, we haven't made any of these this year. At this point, we're in week 4 of the school year of 2021, but we do have a playlist from last year. So, if you have any issues with any of the assignments we're doing in class, or if you're out for any reason and there's not video links posted on the Just In Case You're Out page, you can always go to our YouTube channel, Daily Recordings and Reminders playlist, and check it out. So, for today, I'm making this video to go over the Create a Colony project. So just a couple of quick reminders, guys. Number one, your Create a Colony project, which we are starting this week, is due by Friday. It is your test grade for the unit. So you don't have a multiple choice test. It is a project. We're going to work on it every single day during class. Don't forget, you also have your hour and a half lunch block every day. You could also work on it as well. So it should be well done. It should be thorough, it should be accurate, it should be creative, it should be prettyful, which is a word that you'll hear me use a lot, and it's due by Friday. So this video is going to go over the project, go over the basic instructions, go over the rubric, show you some examples, everything that you need as either a reminder in case you forget, or in case you're out this week, you can watch this video and still know how to complete your project. So your essential question for today, this is our lesson plans, the daily schedule. How did the differences in colonies lead to distinct regions in colonial America? So we're going to keep this in mind because it pertains drastically to what we're going to discuss today. So we'll go over this essential question, talk about it as kind of a recap and intro for today, and then we will do the same thing in class that I'm doing on this video here. Talk about the project, look at the rubric, go over the instructions, look at some examples, and then the students will have time to work. So the easiest way to get to this is to go to our Canvas page. Scroll down to the second section that says U.S. History Modules and click the Unit Number 1 button. When you click this button, it will take you into the Unit Number 1 module. Here, of course, we have our task worksheet. You can get an electronic version of the task worksheet with all the assignments, the key terms, etc. Several of the electronic versions of assignments that we have done in class for Unit Number 1. But here at the bottom, Create a Colony Project. We need you to click on this and open it up. So with this project, you can do this several different ways. Mr. Burrows and I have told you guys, we don't really care so much what the project or products look like or what way that they're done, as long as you actually do them and get the content and the knowledge from them. So what I have for you here is a link to the instructions and then several examples that you can look at as reference points. And you can see that I have a poster or paper version, a PowerPoint version, a slides version, a Word document. Here's another example right here. So feel free to look at these as a reference. Please don't copy from them, obviously, guys, but they're here if you need a guide or something to kind of look at and draw some inspiration from. Now, this portion of the instructions here, obviously this was for last school year because it's talking about being virtual. Guys, you have multiple options of how to complete this. You can do it on paper. You can create any type of electronic documents, PowerPoint, slides, Word document, Google Doc. If there are websites that you've used before, like Canva or anything like that, to create a presentation. If you are, wanting to do something with some type of digital media, that's also perfectly fine. So, again, you have a multitude of ways that you can complete this assignment. Just make sure that you follow the instructions in the rubric, which we're going to look at now. If you click on Create a Colony Project there, it will pull open this document. I would very highly advise you to either download this document to your computer or at least copy and paste all of this stuff into a blank document so that you have it. And the reason why is these are all the requirements. These are all the steps or the things that must be present in your project. So I would highly advise you, even though it's not, a stupid long list, there's about 15, 18 things here. So I would say download this document or copy and paste it so that you can highlight or check off or do something to let yourself know, okay, I completed this step. So what is the actual project itself? What you are going to do is based on the things we have learned and discussed in Unit Number 1, all of the things that were discussed about the British colonies, but also the French, the Spanish, the Dutch, all those subgroups that we talked about, like the Quakers and the Puritans, the ideas of mercantilism, the ideas of transatlantic or triangular trade, all of the elements of the standards for Unit 1, which is Standards 1 and 2. We want you to illustrate your knowledge in a creative way. You're going to create your own colony. Now, one thing that's a little bit confusing right off the bat, guys, we need you to be both creative but also historically accurate. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more in just a second. But essentially, you are going to choose a country that you are going to sail for. That is the very first thing. Are you French? Are you Spanish? Are you Dutch? Are you Portuguese? We didn't talk much about the Portuguese, but you could be Portuguese. Or are you some other country in Europe? Now, again, try to be historically accurate, because if you tell me that you're from Russia, we didn't really discuss Russia, and they weren't doing a lot of colonizing in the Americas, so that's a little bit of a stretch. Next thing is you need to choose where you're going and then describe all these different things. So this is the part where you need to be historically accurate. If you tell me that you're sailing or colonizing for the Spanish, don't tell me that you end up in Alaska. Don't tell me that you end up in northern Canada. The Spanish did not go there. It doesn't make sense for them to go there, right? Their empire is elsewhere. What you could say is that you're a Spanish conquistador and you have set sail and you are ending up somewhere in Central America, or what is today California on the West Coast, so on and so on. So again, I want you to be creative, but also be historically accurate, right? Remember, guys, colonization takes place in the 1650s to the 1750s, in that like 100, 150 year kind of stretch. Maybe you could go as far back as like the late 1500s. So make sure your information is historically accurate. Don't tell me that you're taking a rocket ship across the Atlantic, right? Don't tell me that you're flying across the Atlantic on a plane and settling in. Also, make sure that when you put images in anything, try to be historically accurate. Like, obviously, if there are pictures of the flora, the fauna, the animals, the landscape, those are fine, right? As long as they don't have like big giant skyscrapers in them, okay? But be historically accurate both with your content and your images and the things that you bring into this assignment, okay? So again, you can do this electronically, you can do it on paper, you can make your own, but the biggest thing, historically accurate, make it colorful, make it prettyful, make it creative, right? But be historically accurate and go through and make sure all of the things on this list need to be listed there. Now, guys, the more information that you give us, the better your grade is going to be. If you write a one-sentence explanation and it asks you for 2 to 3, you're not getting full credit. If it says describe in depth something and you write half a sentence or 2 sentences, you may not have described it quite enough, so you might not get full credit. So again, you're going to have plenty of time in class. You have an hour and a half of lunch every day that you could use to your advantage, and you're going to be allowed to work with partners if you so choose. All that being said, it should be well done, it should be thorough, it should be detailed, it should be organized, it should be prettyful, okay? Also, make sure you check out this part at the bottom. It doesn't have a box in it, but you do need to make some type of recruitment poster or pamphlet, some way for you to take all this information and condense it down into like an advertisement for people, right? You got to try and figure out a way to get people to move to your colony, because without colonists, there are no colonies. All right, real quick, I want to go through and just show you guys some different examples. So this is a Google slide example. It's called España Nueva. So this group a couple years ago created their colony. They went through and made slides for each one. They also had a big poster that went with it. So if you're looking at this and you're kind of like, there's not a whole lot of stuff here, you're not wrong. But they also did have a big poster, a trifold poster that went with it. Now they lost some points here because they were not historically accurate, right? They were talking about different things like dinosaurs are one of their resources, different things like that. So they brought in some kind of funny, creative elements. They lost a little bit of points though because it's not historically accurate. Now, if you're naming different groups and you're naming different things in your own colony, that's fine. But you can't tell me that you took a rocket ship to get there. You can't tell me that you harvest dinosaurs. Like that stuff will lose you points. I'm not going to go through every single slide, but this is available in here. You can look at it. There's also a poster version that you can look at if you are someone who's wanting to do yours on paper. So again, this one was not bad. It was pretty well done. Big thing though, remember historical accuracy. So this image is of the modern day police department in Colombia. I believe it's Colombia. Not a historically accurate image. So make sure that your images, that your content is historically accurate to colonization time period, 1600s, 1700s. There's a PowerPoint version, so you can definitely make this into a PowerPoint. This one had decent information. They didn't have a lot of detail though. Okay, so make sure again, guys, the more detail that you give me, the more thorough that you can explain things, the more points you're going to get. And again, too, notice that there's no images here. So they've just given me a PowerPoint full of information. While the information's pretty good, one of the requirements is creativity and imagery. Wasn't any there. There's another Google slide here. You can check this one out as well. It's going to be slow and not load. And then there's also a Word doc version, so you can just type it up. Again, guys, more detail is better. This person decided to just type their information on that same rubric sheet, which is fine. They needed a few more images added in because they only have those two. So, on that. But you could type this up as a Word document. You could download the electronic document with the instructions and make it look like this. All those things are fine. Okay? Now, couple of reminders, and we'll get you guys out of here. So, remember that if you're out for any reason, ever, this week, next week, 5 weeks from now, whatever the case, and if it's for a day, 2 days, 10 days, whatever the case, clicking on this blue link here in between our banner and the schedule will take you to our In Case You're Out page. There is also a way to get to it by clicking on this button with the teacher and the students raising their hands. If you go to that page, it basically tells you all the information about if you're out. Here are the things that you need to make sure you do. Has a reminder about our Zoom tutoring or scheduling times where you could literally get the Zoom link and come in and we could talk to you about content, answer your questions, whatever the case, and then a schedule for the week and the things that you need to do. This has not been updated for today, so this is not accurate for our presentation, but it will have all the information you need. You can also go here, guys, if you're working outside of school hours and you need some reminders on some things, it will have all the links available. Very last thing is just a reminder that we do have our YouTube channel where we have our daily recordings playlist. To get to our YouTube channel, if you scroll down to the last section of Canvas where it says class links, click the YouTube button. It will take you to our YouTube channel. When you get to our channel, you can search through the different playlists, and there are, of course, units broken down by specific units with the specific content and standards and videos. There are some how-to tech videos right here. So if you don't know how to send an email, if you don't know how to take a bunch of files, compress them into a zip file so you can email the entire file at once, if you don't know how to submit a Google form or a Google Doc, all those videos will help. And then here is our daily recordings and reminders. And we made these each and every day last year for virtual learning, but they do still work. The dates are off, but the content is the same. So you can go through this video and you can see, for instance, here's one about the end of Unit number 1. This would give you the information on how to end Unit 1, how to turn in your Creative Colony project. If you need reminders how to do that, that video is available, and how to submit your Unit 1 task work. So again, the dates are off, but the content is right. So these videos are here for you in case you need them, all right? So what we did today was just kind of wrap up basic instructions, went over the rubric, went over some examples for your project. Again, guys, if you're out for any reason, Mr. Bros and I are happy to help you in any way we can. Send us a remind, send us an email. We can schedule a Zoom as well. We'll be working on this project all week. It's due by Friday at 11:59 p.m. Also, remember that Friday, your Unit number 1 task work is due. So make sure, check out the How to Submit Task Work video that's on the Daily Recordings playlist. And we do have a Google Form quiz that we're going to take on Wednesday and Thursday. It's not very long. I don't think it's overly difficult. It's just a way for us to assess your content knowledge. It'll be your basic multiple guess questions, like 18 to 20 at the most. Pretty straightforward. But that is Wednesday, Thursday, so don't forget. Okay? We love you guys. Take care until next time.